Now at 10, an event featuring big rigs at Buffalo Run Casino in Miami looks to raise awareness of autism. We'll visit rigs at the run. Plus,
the Scottish Rite is celebrating 100 years in Joplin, and you're invited. I'm Elise Noe with the story.
And authorities charge a suspect with murder in the death of a Laclede County, Missouri man. We'll tell you what we know.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The historic Scottish Rite in Joplin kicked off their 2-day centennial celebration. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. KOAM's Elise Noe has that story.
It's been 100 years since the Scottish Rite Cathedral in Joplin opened their doors.
We're celebrating 100 years of Scottish Rite Freemasonry being in the city of Joplin, helping kids speech and language issues, making sure that they can grow up so they can hear, talk correctly, just really doing as much as we can for the community for the past 100 years.
Today, the Joplin History Museum and the Joplin Historical Society featured a fashion exhibit for guests. The Flapper-era fashions transported guests back in time when the cathedral was built in 1923. But the Scottish Rite's celebrations do not end here.
Make sure to come by tomorrow, where the cathedral will be hosting a fried chicken banquet similar to the one that they served 100 years ago. And the best part, a plate is the same price as it was back then, just $2.
Well, the fried chicken was served in 1923, and they had the capacity to cook for 1,000 people during that banquet. We do not have that capacity, so we're going to cook for 300.
Tickets are still available for tomorrow's banquet at noon. The proceeds will go towards supporting the Scottish Rite's next generation.
I mean, in the next 100 years, I would love just to see guys like myself, under the age of 30. I'd love to see an influx of young men, 18 to 30 years old, come in, become a part of something great.
Elise Noe, KOAM News.
Let's check in with Doug Hetty now for a first look at the weather.
Well, of course, we had showers. We had thunderstorms across the region during the morning hours. Some areas picked up some very heavy amounts of rain. Other areas, not even a drop. And that would be mainly in our northern counties. But at least most of us got some rain. Also, look at this. 82 for a high. We were over 100 just 2 days ago. We were near 100 yesterday. Normal high is 91 degrees. So it felt great. Feels great out there now. We have pretty much clear skies. Had a few clouds kind of dropping through earlier, but you can see across the Central Plains, nothing's going on. So we're going to stay nice and quiet as we go through the overnight hours tonight, at least through the first half of the day tomorrow. Look at these temps, 69 Nevada, 74 in Neosho, 74 in Miami. Chanute is sitting at about 72 degrees. So we're going to drop all the way back into lower 60s tonight. Now, of course, we're going to start to warm up. Also some thunderstorm chances. We're going to break that down for you here in just a bit.
All right, see you soon. Seneca, Missouri today has been dealing with flash flooding. The city received 2 to 3 inches of rain. And as you can see, it was challenging for cars to drive through some areas. The flash flooding affected low-lying areas and poor drainage spots and streets, among other places in the city. Some Missouri firefighters are getting extra training on how to save a life. Divers from all over the Lake of the Ozarks have been in the water, making sure they're certified to help people in need. Reporter Marina Silva was at the Lake of the Ozarks today as they trained, and explains why it's so important right now.
Stressing is a good word for it.
Curtis Varnes has been a diver with Mid-County Fire Protection District since 2002. He's here today getting recertified. He's been there several times when people needed help.
Stressing. You have family there watching you. You want to get the job done. Depending on the situations, it could take a few minutes, it could take a few hours, and it could be a situation that we can't dive at all due to entanglements, depths.
Divers on the team needed to make sure they keep getting recertified every year. That's why they are here for this 4-day training at Lake of the Ozarks. Butch is one of the trainers. He's one of the people making sure divers keep up their skills and learn new ones.
Here, and when you step under the water with no visibility, it's a debris field. You get caught on all kinds of things. Having a system becomes imperative. Without a true system, we're just divers going in the water.
Varnes says it's a tough job.
You need guys that are fresh and ready to go and want to do this. Dive team is not a glorious job. It really isn't. It's not like fighting fires.
Teams have been there since Wednesday and go until tomorrow afternoon. After that, they'll either be certified or recertified. The Laclede County, Missouri Sheriff's Office has identified the body of a man found in a wooded area this week. This comes after we told you about his mobile home catching fire on July 9th and his body being found 100 yards away from his home on July 11th. Well, he's now identified as 62-year-old Alden Bryant. Authorities say he was reported missing by his family July 10th. Officers arrested 33-year-old Sterling King of Billings and charged him with second-degree murder and second-degree arson in the death of Bryant. Authorities say King met Bryant on the 4th of July and King stayed with him in exchange for work. Investigators believe King killed Bryant and then started the fire to cover up the evidence of the crime. Bryant died from blunt force trauma. King is being held in jail without bond. One woman and 3 children are dead after an hours-long standoff in Verdigris, Oklahoma. Police say there was an armed subject in a home in Verdigris. They say that standoff started around 5 p.m. yesterday and was active for more than 2 hours. All 4 people were found inside the home dead from apparent gunshot wounds. Police have not yet released the identity of the woman or the 3 children. Still ahead, a big rig event in Miami, Oklahoma looks to do a lot more than just look cool. We'll explain. Plus, Special Olympics Kansas athletes get their groove on with some dance moves. All that and more ahead on KOAM News at 10. Miami is hosting the first edition of Route 66 Rigs at the Run. Besides putting together a show with more than 50 trucks in the Buffalo Run Casino parking lot, the event also wants to raise awareness of autism. KOAM's Fernandez Silva has that story.
Truck driver for more than 3 years, Logan Lacking wants to make sure his truck's looking good, not only to make people turn their heads when driving by him, but also to his first show.
When I was a kid, I always used to see a semi, I'd be doing this, wanting to honk the horn and everything, so it brings back memories for me, so that's why I'm here, If I can put a smile on a kid's face, and that's all that matters to me.
They take a lot of pride in their trucks, so these trucks are like their house. They spend most of the time more time in the truck than they do at their house. So it's like a house going down the road, and they want it to look good, just like anybody else. It's like mowing your grass almost.
Logan's joined by more than 50 other drivers who brought their trucks to the Buffalo Run Casino parking lot to show off their rigs, but also to bring awareness to autism. The money raised in the event will go to Ottawa County Family Connections Foundation. The nonprofit supports kids with autism and their families.
We want to bring awareness, we want to bring education. A lot of people don't know very much about special needs, and we want to bring in funds for that.
Mom of an 8-year-old kid diagnosed with autism, Lindsay Keith helped starting the foundation. After a year offering support to local families, their goal is to build a center for the foundation with the funds raised in this and other events.
We live in a community that works with a lot of low-income families, and so one of our biggest goals is to bring in donations or funding to bring in these resources so our parents don't have to travel an hour or 2 hours weekly for these therapies that their kids need.
Born and raised in Miami, truck driver Steve Huff wanted to give back to the community by helping organizing Route 66 Rigs at the Run.
It's a great cause. It's a no-brainer to help out kids that need special needs. My daughter has ADD and ADHD, so it hits close to home.
I think truckers get a bad name sometimes, that everybody thinks truckers are bad or something, but you can see the kindness in these guys' hearts for these children in our community that they're going to give back to. So I think it sheds a light on the trucking community and it shows them these are really good people. They're just like everybody else.
In Miami, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Food trucks and merch sales are also part of the event. Route 66 Rigs at the Run continues tomorrow starting at 8 a.m. Some area athletes are preparing to compete with one another to test their strength. Special Olympics Kansas is holding their state games in Pittsburgh for the first time ever. And as is tradition, the games were kicked off with this torch run. Pittsburgh police officers today ran with the Flame of Hope from the Law Enforcement Center at Pittsburgh to the high school. The community members were also able to join in on that run. The games themselves, they began with a powerlifting competition. Athletes were weighed in at the start of the event to sort them into different classes, and they went for gold as lifting as much as they could. After that, the awards were handed out. The competitions continue tomorrow with some flag football games beginning at 9 a.m. at Hutchinson Field by the Community Middle School. After the competitions today, the athletes were invited to the first ever Special Olympics state dance. The dance was luau themed, so everyone was encouraged to wear their very best outfit for a Hawaiian getaway. It featured a DJ, a dessert bar, and snow cones from the Jolly Trolley. Athletes from many different sports and volunteers had the chance to dance while also looking back on what they love most about the Special Olympics and the sports they enjoy.
Getting to know people, creating relationships with individuals, definitely the most.
Every golfing swing, have to keep the feet together. Yes, sir. And you keep an eye on the ball, and then swing. And I went up to the next course.
Wow, that dance was at the Pritchett Pavilion in Pittsburgh. What a great time. A little later, Chanute Post 170 battles the Pittsburgh Post 64 Patriots in the Kansas AAA State Tournament, and we're going to have the highlights.
And of course, after great temperatures for us today, we're going to start to heat things back up. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a great Friday for us today. We did get some showers and thunderstorms in the morning, which we need for a good chunk of us. And then got some sunshine during the afternoon and fantastic temperatures. It's been so hot lately, and highs today only in the lower 80s, which is pretty good. We'll definitely take it. All right, here's Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. It's Friday night. Parking lot is filling up. It's a nice night, and we needed that rain that we got earlier today for the month, 1.27. But look at this. We're 10 inches behind. In fact, if you take this back to last June, we're 25 inches below where we should be over the past 12 months. That's why we got the drought conditions across the region. So if we zoom in, southern counties, you're dry. Once you get down toward Grand Lake, over toward Table Rock Lake, and then from Joplin to Pittsburgh, a severe drought. So we need rain. Extreme drought, Nevada through Fort Scott, Chanute, Iola, and then exceptional drought once you get in our western counties, Chautauqua, also Elk County. But look at the rain last night. Northern counties, nothing. Once you get to this green line, that shows at least a ½ inch. So we have very light amounts in Pittsburgh. But all this green and yellow is showing anywhere from a ½ inch upwards to about 2.5 inches of rain. So at least some of us got some very beneficial rain for us last night. Outside right now, 73 in Carthage, 74 in Miami. Pittsburgh a little bit cooler at 69 degrees. We can go to 7th and Rangeline, currently sitting at 73. Humidity is not bad, so it feels the same as our temperature. Northerly winds are light at about 5 miles per hour, and there's not much going on. It's going to stay very quiet for us tonight, and at least through the first half of the day tomorrow. We have been tracking this big dome of high pressure. This is our heat dome that gave us all of the heat, but it's shoved its way back toward the west, brings in northerly winds and cooler air. But as this high pressure starts to build back in next week, that's when our temperatures go right back up. Let's step through your weekend. We're going to stop about 7 o'clock in the morning. Look at these temps, lower 60s, clear skies. As we go through the morning, by the noon hour, we're into the lower 80s. Looks pretty good. We do push upper 80s to near 90 once we get into the afternoon, but remember the humidity is going to be low, so it's not going to feel too terribly bad. However, tomorrow evening, some isolated thunderstorms, mainly in our northern counties, will start to pop up, but 1 or 2 of these guys could work through southeastern Kansas, and then we clear out again by Sunday. And then mainly Sunday looks pretty good. A little bit hotter. We go into low to mid 90s for highs, and we'll start that trend. All right, let's look at your weekend. 89 tomorrow, 95 Sunday. A little warmer tomorrow. Isolated evening thunderstorms. 90s return on Sunday, but it gets worse. We go well into the 90s to near 100. By Monday, I think about 98, 99. A few scattered thunderstorms. Triple-digit heat moves in. That's Tuesday into Wednesday, near 100 degrees. And that's where we're going to sit all next week, right around 100. 89 tomorrow, 95 on Sunday, 99 on Monday, and then a stretch of triple-digit heat, or at least near 100. It could be 99 one day or 101, about as far as we can see.
But doesn't 99 seem a lot better than 101?
Whole lot better.
If you could arrange that, we would appreciate it.
I'll try to get all 99s on there.
Well, that doesn't sound much better. Thanks, Doug. Brock here right now. The best time to talk about football is any time, and we're just about 6 weeks away from Pitt State football kicking off the football season.
Yeah, that's right. And today, the Pittsburgh football team the program announced a trio of coaching promotions. And the American Legion AAA state tournament is in Pittsburgh tonight. A couple of local teams battle it out. We'll break down the highlights next in sports. Kansas American Legion baseball is in the middle of their AAA state tournament. The Pittsburgh Post 64 Patriots and Chanute Post 170 feature players from all over the southeast Kansas area, and tonight, both of those teams get to face each other. Pittsburgh Post 64 going against Chanute Post 170, the Kansas American Legion State Tournament. We start off in the top of the first inning. Connor Van Beesler rips this ball into the gap, an RBI double. Tucker Atkins will come in to score, 1-0 Patriots. Bottom of the first now. 2-1 Pittsburgh. Chanute's Cohen Wheeler skies this ball out to left field. The outfielders miscommunicate, and that ball falls down for a hit. Colby Baker comes in to score, RBI single. Chanute ties the game up 2-2. So now top of the second inning, 3-2 Chanute. Quentin Fears blasts this ball to left field, bounces off of the base of the wall. 2 runs coming to score. It's a 2-run double for Fears, and Pittsburgh regains the lead 4-3. Been a heck of a game out there all night long, but we're still in progress. At last check, Pittsburgh leads 10-9 in the 5th inning. It's the final weekend of the Mink League regular season. Joplin Outlaws continue their road trip in Jefferson City tonight, and now the Outlaws are only 1 win away from playing postseason baseball at Joe Becker Stadium. Tonight, the Joplin Outlaws face the Jefferson City Renegades. Joplin won the series opener 8-7. A win for Joplin tonight would secure the Mink League South Division title for the 2nd straight season, but looks like we're going to have to wait another night as Jefferson City beats Joplin 8-6. The series finale will be tomorrow night at 7 p.m., so Joplin still has a chance to clinch the Mink League South. Pittsburgh State football officially opens their season as we are just under 6 weeks away from the home opener against Washburn. Now, before the season starts, football program announced today that they have a trio of coaching staff promotions. Head coach Brian Wright is pleased to announce the promotions of his program. First off, Lynn Nutt has been elevated to defensive coordinator and linebackers coach. Then former Pitt State Gorilla and graduate assistant Jordan Hendy has been hired as the safeties coach. Then finally, assistant coach Tyrell Everett has been promoted to assistant head coach and defensive run game coordinator. The SEC Media Days are in full swing in Nashville this week, which means members of the media voted on where they think each SEC football team will place this year. And with that, the SEC officially releases their football preseason poll. Let's take a look at things in the SEC East. No surprises here. 2-time defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs are picked to win the SEC East and the entire SEC outright. Then the Tennessee Volunteers were picked to finish in 2nd place, South Carolina at 3rd place, Kentucky in there at 4th place, and the Florida Gators in at 5th place. Then the Missouri Tigers are picked to finish in 6th place. Then finally, the Vanderbilt Commodores are picked to finish dead last. Now over to the SEC West poll. Once again, the Alabama Crimson Tide are picked to finish in 1st place in the SEC West. The LSU Tigers are picked to finish in 2nd. Then the Texas A&M Aggies are in there at 3rd. The Ole Miss Rebels are picked to finish in 4th. Then the Hogs, the Arkansas Razorbacks, are picked to finish in 5th place this year. Then the Auburn Tigers and the Mississippi State Bulldogs round out the SEC West preseason poll. The Kansas City Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals both begin road trips this weekend. The Royals head to the Big Apple as the Cardinals head to the Windy City. Cardinals at Cubs today in Chicago. Cubs scored all of their runs in the 3rd inning, and that's all they needed to defeat the Cardinals today, 4-3. This loss snaps the Cardinals' 6-game winning streak. However, Nolan Arenado goes 1 for 5 with a pair of RBIs. Royals at Yankees tonight in the Bronx as Both the Royals and the Yankees are in last place in their divisions. You don't see that too often. Royals had the lead, but the Yankees complete the comeback. New York beats Kansas City 5-4 to win Game 1 of the series. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back with more news right after this.
Some young farmers today showed off their livestock. It's part of the 49th annual McDonald County, Missouri Fair. Today's events included all sorts of activities, but the main event was livestock showcases. They ranged from a swine show to a sheep show to dairy goat shows. Some kids are even competing in multiple categories.
I'm showing a pig, I'm showing 2 chickens. I did a scarecrow and I did try for princess.
Wow, that is a full day or week or whatever that was. It's going to continue through tomorrow starting at 8 and then ends at 9 p.m. Tomorrow's going to feature a turtle race and a dog show. A turtle race.
It may be there a while.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, it'll start tomorrow, maybe going on for months, who knows. Yeah. The weather tomorrow, not too bad.
Yeah, a little bit warmer than what we saw today, but the humidity is going to be fine. 89 for a high, an isolated thunderstorm in the evening. And then we heat back up, 95 Sunday, 99 on Monday.
And the final sports notes.
And the United States women's national team, it just went final moments ago. They beat Vietnam 3-0.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. Let's make it a great weekend.